Hello everyone, my name is JaytheRocketMan and today I have an interview for you. Before I move on with introducing our guest, I would like to thank everyone for supporting this series. The last video received a great response and I will continue interviewing various YouTube channels. Please drop a like if you're enjoying these insights on their lives. Today's guest has been uploading videos on YouTube for the past 8 years. He uploads about 2 to 3 videos per day on various games that he plays. He is very involved in his community and is overall an outstanding creator. Through our emails, he was in support of this video idea as well as answering the questions provided to him. So without further ado, let me introduce you to
DanQ8000.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Dan here. Dan here, welcome.
The first question I asked him was, why did you begin your YouTube channel? And he responded, I got my inspiration from a few YouTubers who, unfortunately, are no longer around on the site. They gave me an urge to put my passion for video games into something I could share with the world. I never once thought that creating a few gaming videos as a hobby would ever morph into the amazing career that I have today. The second question I asked him was, where did the name Danq8000 originate from? And he responded, as kids we've all created that one email address that sounds cool at the time, but ends up making us blush whenever we have to give it out. I was no exception. I thought that Dude Dan1000 would be the coolest name for me. Once I was much older and the time came to create my name for my YouTube account, I figured I'd take a bit of influence from that original email but alter it so that it could be taken seriously. I simply took my nickname and last initial, my favorite number, and slapped 3 zeros and N like in my first email account. Hence, DanQ8000 was born. The third question I asked him was, have you ever had to make a difficult decision regarding your YouTube channel? He responded, every YouTuber encounters at least one big roadblock during their YouTube career. Probably one of the most difficult decisions that I had to make would involve copyright. I had a successful series that received hundreds of thousands of views that was subjected to severe copyright claims. I had 2 choices. I could either remove the videos or risk a third copyright strike and lose my channel altogether. I simply could not risk losing the very thing that I put so much time and effort into for one series, regardless of how popular it was. The fourth question I asked him was, what are your hobbies outside of YouTube? And he responded, besides video games, there are many hobbies that I enjoy in my free time. For one, I'm a huge car guy. Every spare moment I can get to mod my car or go for a drive, I am on it, and I'm also a huge basketball fan. Whether playing it myself or watching the Raptor game on TV, I couldn't be happier. Although cliche, hanging out with friends and family is truly important to me as well. They are the people that keep me grounded from the stresses of the online world. The fifth question I asked him was, if you could go back 5 years ago, what advice would you give yourself? He responded, if I had the choice, I wouldn't step into the time machine at all. What I did 5 years ago has put me in one of the greatest careers I could ever imagine having. The last thing I'd want to do is potentially throw off my 20-year-old self by telling him to keep doing what you're doing. The sixth question I asked him was, do you have a full-time YouTube career? If not, are you trying to pursue it? He responded, for years, I had a second full-time job to go right with YouTube. Back then, the YouTube full-time option just seemed too much out of reach and not to mention too much of a risk. However, November 2014, I managed to achieve my goal and officially put 100% of my focus on my YouTube channel. To this day, I still believe it was the best decision I've ever made and can't wait to see what the future has in store. The seventh question I asked him was, what is your favorite game genre? He answered, you won't often see me turn away many games based on their genre since I play any game that interests me. However, if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the action RPG genre. It combines fast-paced gameplay with logical, customize your character and choose their direction mentality. The eighth question I asked him was, what is your advice to beginning YouTube users? He answered, I've been asked this question many times over the years and I usually give people the same answer. However, YouTube is a very competitive medium. The best advice I can give anyone who's starting on YouTube is to be unique and charismatic as you possibly can. You have to give people something they haven't seen before. The more original and creative you can be, the better. Secondly, and most importantly, no matter what direction you choose on YouTube, see it through. If you have a passion for your content and want it to succeed, then you must stick with it. So many people quit making videos because the goal seems impossible. If you have a big enough passion and you dedicate the time and effort into your YouTube career, then you will succeed. The ninth question I asked him was, where do you view yourself in the next 5 years? He answered, I believe that all I can do now is grow. In 5 years' time, I hope to still be making YouTube videos, but to a much larger audience. As long as I have my amazing fan base, I don't see a possibility of slowing down. The 10th and final question I asked him was, whenever you started your YouTube account, what were some of the difficulties you had to endure? He responded, actually, there really weren't too many difficulties during the channel's inception. As long as the video was live and viewable, I did not care who claimed it or why. The biggest problems for me started when copyright and content ID abuse became the norm. Almost daily, you would get a notification of someone unlawfully claiming your video for content that they did not own. The problem is still active to this day, although I have a great network who usually helps clear everything up. I just wanted to say thank you to Dan for participating with my interview. His responses were thorough and fantastic. If you guys have any suggestions for the next interview, please leave them in the comments below. And on a personal note, Danq8000 was also an amazing person to talk to, guys. His content is awesome, and I highly recommend him for anyone who wants to participate with his channel. Great guy, really, he is. Alright, guys, thank you so much. This has been JaytheRocketMan, and peace out.